Hey y'all, this is Nia Tate and welcome to my channel. Hope all is well with you. I want to say a special thank you to all my new subscribers. I appreciate you all. And to everyone else that's new or passing through, it is absolutely free to subscribe and free to like the video. So please hit those buttons below. I'm here to do a review on Queen Sugar Season 6, Episode 6. So, there's a lot going on in this episode, so let's get it. So, Charlie, Nova, and Aunt Vi decide to have a spa day over at Charlie's house, and they are laughing and joking with each other because evidently Nova's feet is jacked up. But she said, look, we've been in a pandemic. Aunt Vi, I don't have a Hollywood to paint my toenails like, like some people. So then Charlie says, this whole spa day was really, I got this idea from Davis. And so they start laughing, Aunt Vi and Nova. And she said, why every time I mention his name, y'all start laughing? And they said, Aunt Vi said, you mentioned his name about 15 times already since we've been here. And they were just teasing her because she's so happy. And Nova says she's sprung because she is. She is just head over heels over Davis. So she gets a phone call and she has to rush out. So she tells him, she said, I'll be back. You guys stay here, but I have to leave. So we find out that she goes over and meets the political guy, the political pundit, the ones that's trying to get her to run for Senate. So when she gets there, he says, they're at a restaurant, and he says, we've decided that we're not going to back you for Senate. We're no longer going to back you for Senate. So, Charlie's like, well, I understand that. I knew it was a risk going on Gayle King. She said, this is the South, and you all say you want women to, be active in politics, but here you are judging me, for a relationship. And then he stops her and he says, Charlie, the reason we're not going to back you for Senate is because we really want to back you. We've decided we want to back you for Congress instead, to run in 2022. So she was, of course, she was like speechless. She didn't know what to say. So she has talked to Davis earlier, and she was telling him that, she was taking her time trying to decide if she really wanted to get back, go further into politics, because it was a lot to think about, and she knew that, it was going to be a lot of time and, a lot of, attention on them and her life. It's really, a change in her life. So next we see, we're over at Nova's house, and Nova calls her office and tells them that she's taking off for the rest of the weekend. She's finished her articles, so she's laying down taking a nap, and then out of nowhere she's awoken by the police busting in her house with their guns drawn, like like she a major criminal or something. And of course she's frightened to death, so she gets up and she raises her hand in the air and she says, my name is Nova Bordelon and I live here, nobody else is in this house. And so then they take her and they start tearing stuff up, talking about they have a warrant to search for drugs. So they bring her outside, and of course all the neighbors are outside, and her neighbor Dominique, the new guy, he comes over and he's like, Nova, what's going on? And she said, just they're trying to search my house, or something like that, she said. And the police officer was like, get back, this has nothing to do with you. And he's like, I'm getting ready to take my phone out and record this. So when he goes to take his phone out, they draw the gun on him, and Nova is standing on a porch, so she runs toward him. They grab her and slam them both to the ground. And then all the other neighbors, they start pulling out their phone and they start recording. So then that made the police kind of back up off them, but they still was in her house searching. So eventually they found a bag of weed, and they said, well, this is illegal in the state of Louisiana. And she says, I have a medical card, and I have a medical card for that. And he said, yeah, sure you do. He said, you going to jail. So they put her in the car, and Dominic, is standing there. He's like, is there anybody you want me to call? But she doesn't, he doesn't know her family, so he doesn't, have anyone to call. So they take her to jail. So we have Micah and his frat brother. They went to the movies, and they're coming out talking about the movies and everything. And then later, well, his friend says, Micah's like, you want to go get something to eat? He said, nah, I have, um, he said a date. He said, I'm meeting someone. And he said, oh, okay. So he said, it's just, it's just new. It's just, just somebody that I'm meeting. So Micah's like, well, what's her name? So he says, why? So Micah's like, well, so I can check them out, and make sure they safe. So he, his friend Isaiah is his name. Isaiah says, oh, so, Mr. Mr. Older Woman, you trying to tell me, trying to pick out who I date or something like that. So after later on, they meet back at the frat house. Well, Micah's there playing cards with some of the guys, and then Isaiah comes back from his meeting or his date, and the guys, he sits down to play cards with the guys, and they start picking at him. They're like, "Oh, y'all a couple, y'all make a good team," and stuff like that. And Isaiah, it's just like you know, he don't even, he goes back and starts joking with him, and not joking with him, but like, um, giving it back to him. Whatever they telling him, he's like handling it like a pro. He's not letting it affect him or anything like that. He starts telling the guy, oh, you just jealous because you don't have a team. All the girls around here, nobody wants to be with you because you ugly and stuff like that. And they start laughing. And Micah was just looking at him like, wow, like, I guess he was just amazed at how he wasn't getting upset, and how he handled it. So later Micah goes to meet Charlie in the park because she wants to tell him about her meeting with and about them maybe wanting her to run for Senate, well, for Congress. I'm sorry, for Congress. And so he's excited. He supports his mom. He's very excited. He's like, if that's really what you want, I'm happy for you. So she had talked to Davis earlier, Charlie, but she didn't mention it to him. She just told him that she had a lot, to think about. And she was saying, do you think you'll be able to come to New Orleans before the season starts? Because he's over there, coaching and stuff. And he said, I don't think so. I have a lot of, things to do. And he said, well, how about you come out here? And she said, well, I'll try. I'll see, I'll really see what I can do. So she told Micah that if she does run for Congress, she may have to run. She may have to go to California to run. Because remember, that's where she went to meet the political people. I guess the man was just down here for a meeting that she met with. So Micah starts telling her about Isaiah, and he says, I think he's gay. So she said, well, you've never asked him? Because he said he's he's a friend of mine, and she said, well, what do y'all talk about? He said, we talk about everything, like politics and everything like that. And so she just let him know that, she said, Micah, I love you regardless, and he said, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that he is my friend, and, it just annoys me that people just assume that people can be friends even though they're different. So, that was pretty much that scene. It wrapped up. So let's get on to Celine. Celine is the young lady that Aunt Vi's trying to help, and her little boy Gabriel. So Hollywood has Gabriel over at his place. I forgot the name of the place, that his new business, and he has a guy over there that's a barber that's cutting hair. So while the barber is there, well, once they get there, the little boy is getting his hair cut. So the barber tells Hollywood, he said, hey man, the cops came by here earlier. And Hollywood said, really? He said, yeah, they was looking for Ralph Angel, and actually they was looking for apparently his friend Theo got arrested. And I'm not sure, I didn't really quite understand why they was looking for Ralph Angel. If I think Theo told him that maybe he was trying to get like an alibi or something, and maybe that's what he was trying to use Ralph Angel for. But anyway, the barber told Hollywood, he said the cops said they're gonna come back. He said I told them you weren't here. They said they was gonna come back. So one thing about Hollywood, he don't let no he don't let no grass grow under his feet. He got on the phone immediately with Ralph Angel and told him. He said, "Hey man, um, the cops were here." He said your boy Theo got arrested, and Ralph Angel was like, Darla was sleeping, so he was outside talking, and immediately Ralph Angel was like, "What?" He got nervous. He said, "Yeah, he got arrested." He said, and Hollywood said, "Look, man, I'll cover for you, but I'm definitely not covering for him. I don't even know him. I don't even know why he told the cops to come over here." And he said, "Ralph Angel, there's not nothing. You're not involved in nothing, right?" And he was like, he kind of just evaded the question, but it's a problem. That's definitely gonna be a problem. So Hollywood goes on and takes Gabriel back to the hotel, back to his mom's, and he looks so cute with his little haircut and everything. And so he runs upstairs. She said, "Go on upstairs, and get you a slice of pie that Vi bought." So this Celine is downstairs with Hollywood, and she's telling him, she said, "I really appreciate you spending time with him." She said he used to, talk about his dad every day. She said, and now since he's met you, it really has taken his mind off of it. And you're so kind and patient with him. And then she said, "I wish I had somebody that was kind and patient with me." And Hollywood was like, "Well, yeah, tell Gabriel I said bye. And then he did go in and give her a hug. But if you're from the South, people hug each other. Maybe not so much now, but everybody hug each other. So wasn't nothing like that. But when he went in for that hug, she went to try to kiss him. And Hollywood was like, "Oh no, 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 no!" He backed up. He was like, "Oh no!" He said, "No, you out of line. No, this is not going anywhere. You are definitely out of line." He said, "How could you do that to Vi after all she done for you?" And she starts crying, and she runs upstairs, and so he gets in the truck and he leaves. And like I said, no grass grows under Hollywood feet. Hollywood went home and immediately told Aunt Vi, which is exactly what he was supposed to do. He was sitting at a table, and they were fixing to go to Prosper's house, and so she was like, "What's wrong?" When she came out the room, she said, "I'm upstairs," and she looked at his face, and he said, "I don't know how to tell you this." He said, "But Celine tried to kiss me." And she was like, "What?" He said, "When I brought Gabriel home, she tried to kiss me." She said, "After all I did for that woman?" He said, "That's exactly what I said." And then she said, "Well, wait a minute. How did she get close enough to you to try to kiss you?" He said, "Now wait a minute, Vi." He said, "Look," he said, "you the only person that I want. I would never do anything like that." So Vi still has issues from Jimmy Dale, of course. How he treated her, and so I understand why she asked him that. But he assured her that, "Oh no. And I mean, to be honest, some low down dirty men probably would have did it. Dirty suckers. But Hollywood not that man. And I'm so glad that the producers did not shatter our image of Hollywood, because we all love him, and he's a stand-up guy, and he proved it again tonight. So next we go over to Prosper's house. Well, earlier the nurse was over there at Prosper's house, and she was helping him with his therapy. So he was like lifting some weights and stuff, and so Billy was there, and they were laughing and talking. And she said, "Dad, I have to go into town to pick up a few things." She said, "But how about I pick up some dinner and we have a daddy-daughter date when I come back?" And he said, "Okay." He said, "Well, that sounds real good. Okay, yeah, let's do that." So so next we see Darla and Ralph Angel. Earlier we had seen those two. They were at the bed and breakfast. That money that that Ralph Angel participated in them illegalities. And he had that money. He wanted to take her, for a weekend at the bread and breakfast. So that's where they were earlier, and they were at the hotel, sitting by the pool, and she was enjoying herself. And actually, she told him, she said, I'm sorry that I doubted you. I should know that you have things handled. And he was looking at her all, like guilty, because she really actually believed that he had worked some overtime like he told her. So later, after he had gotten a call from Hollywood, he just went in and he confessed. He just told her the truth. He was like, "Look, the farm is not doing as good as I thought it was. I thought the money was gonna come in. It didn't. I took a job with Theo, and I was the driver, the getaway driver. And of course, she was mad. She was hot. She was like, you lied to me. Why would you do this? Why would you risk everything that we have? Why?" And she said, so they had ordered some food, and so there was a knock on the door, and of course, he looked at the door. She did too. And she said, and the guy said delivery, and so he was getting up to go get the food. She said, "Is that how it's gonna be? Is that how it's gonna be? We're gonna be scared to answer the door?" So he told her, he said, "Well, the cops don't know anything yet. At least I don't think so. So, but at least he did tell her and come clean. Dang it, Ralph Angel, because Theo probably gonna tell. They probably got him on tape. Is what it is. I'm sure they got him on tape. I mean, that wasn't very smart. Come on now, Ralph Angel." So let's go back over to Prosper's house. He and Billy are sitting down having dinner, having a good time, talking and laughing. And she said, "Dad, I bought some tiramisu. Don't eat too much because I bought some tiramisu for our dessert." And he said, "Oh," he said, "You know what else we should have? Let's have a glass of wine since we having treats." So they really getting along, laughing and stuff. So there's a knock at the door, and it's on Vi and Hollywood. And so they come in, and Vi had bought him a pie, and Prosper said, "Oh, Billy, I forgot that I had invited Hollywood um and Vi over." So she kind of, Billy kind of looked. She was a little, because they were having a, enjoying themselves. And so Vi was like, "Oh, I had to bring you your favorite pie." So Hollywood said, "Is some, are we interrupting something?" Because he noticed that, they were the dinner. The table was set, and they were eating. He noticed that. And Prosper said, oh no, we finished, we done." And so Billy looked at him, and she kind of looked hurt when he said that, because it's like he just dismissed them. Child, when he see Aunt Vi, he just get all excited and forget about everything else. So um, Billy was like, "Oh no, that's okay. Y'all go ahead and have y'all pie." And so Vi said, "Is there something wrong with my pie, Billy?" And she said, "No, no, I didn't mean it like that, Vi." "Well, that seems that's the way you mean it." Now remember, Vi's still mad at Celine because of that situation, so she already hyped up. So here she go roaring at Billy. You know, she said, and so Billy said, "We were just having a dinner, and we were just enjoying some time. I was just trying to spend some time with my dad." And Vi goes, "You know what? I'm tired of your disrespect. I'm really tired of you disrespecting." So Hollywood said, "Why don't we just go?" I'm not, and Vi, "I'm not going anywhere. I'm tired of her disrespecting me." I'm like, "Vi, you really need to stop. Come on now. Stop it." So Prosper didn't say nothing. He was just standing there looking. And so Vigo said, "This is not the first time you disrespected me. You already you disrespected my marriage." And Hollywood was like, "Now, Vi, you know nothing going on with me." She said, not with you, Billy Dale, Jimmy Dale, Jimmy Dale." And that's when Billy let loose on him. Billy said, "You know what? I'm sick and tired of you." She said, "I understand that you were hurting your marriage, but did you ever stop to think that I was a child? This was a grown man. He came on real strong, and when I rebuked him, or when I not rebuked him, when I rebuffed his advances, then he went around telling all kind of lies and all kind of dirty lies about me. And did you ever stop to think to ask me if it was true?" And then Vi was just like standing there with her mouth open, like it, it hit her that, oh my God, that, wow, no, I didn't. And Prosper was looking too. And she said, you know what? Y'all can have y'all pie. So she walked out, Billy. She left. And then Hollywood and Vi left too. So later we see Billy. When she left, she went to a bar, and apparently, Mr. Prosper called Charlie because he didn't know where to find her. He asked Charlie to go find her. So Charlie found her at the bar, and she was just sitting there, and Charlie was like, are you okay? And she said no. And she said, Charlie said, you can't run from pain. And I think that part of the reason that you're still here is because you want to overcome it. She said, you've done a lot of good. You have beautiful kids, but it's something that's inside of you, and until you find a way to work through it, it's always going to come up. So, and Charlie said, I understand what that's about. And she said, Charlie was trying to tell her something is always going to bring it out. And Billy said, no, your Aunt Vi is the one that brought it out of me. She said, and Charlie said that she was wrong for that. She said, but she dealing with her own type of pain too. That's her story. That's her issue. But we all have to deal with our issues and the pain, or at least and until we do, it just comes back and repeats itself. So the final scene is we see Nova. Nova's still at the jail. They have not let her make a phone call. They got her in an interrogation room, and she's sitting there praying, asking the Lord to help her. So here come the no good old cop in there. He come in there again. You ready to talk? So it's so good to know your rights. They should know, baby. Nova is not to be played with. And then they asked her when they busted in her house, when she was on the porch. They're like, how long have you been living here? So she said, I think she said 13. I can't remember. She said how long she was living there. How do you afford a house like that, like this? And she said, I'm a New York Times bestseller. My website gets 2 million hits, and I also write articles. That's right. You be asking, boy, they were so full of it. But so she said, he was like, "Are you ready to talk yet?" She said, I have been here approximately 4 hours. She said, because you come in here 8 times, which means that, and usually the tactic is come in and ask every 30 minutes. Um, that's textbook detective work. She said, so that means you come in here 8 times. That means I've been here 4 hours. I have not gotten my phone call. She said, and first of all, um, the weed that you had was less than, I forgot how much she said, which is actually a misdemeanor in New Orleans. And besides that, the medical card, I have a medical card for that, which you already know because I keep the medical card where I keep what you found. She said, so every hour that you keep me in here is gonna cost this city more money because I'm gonna sue the pants off of this city if you don't let me out of here. And he just standing there looking stupid, and then he opened the door and let her walk out. I'm like, you see, she know her rights. Good thing she did. So when she get outside, Dominic's out there because he had told her when they put her in a cop car. He said, I'm gonna stay here and make sure I'm gonna close your house up and make sure they don't take anything. He said, and I'll be down to the police station. So when she walked out, she was thanking God to herself. She was like, oh my God, because she was scared, and rightly so, them crazy things. So she saw Dominique and she said, you been here all that time? He said, I told you I was coming. He said, I told you I wouldn't leave you. And he hugged her and embraced her because she was still, of course, upset. So Charlie don't know this. She didn't ever get a chance to call Charlie. So I guess now next week they're not coming on, so I don't know why, but we have a bye week next week, so no Queen Sugar, but they'll come back the following Tuesday night. And that's when I'm sure Charlie found out. Oh, they gonna get sued. Oh, trust me, Miss Charlie gonna get them together. So that was it for the night. It was a really good episode. So much going on. So many moving parts. Oh, I always forget something. I forgot to tell y'all that Celine, after Vi told, after Hollywood told Vi, Vi said, we going over there before we go to Prosper. We got a stop to make. So she goes over to the hotel, and they gone. Celine and her little boy are gone. The maid told her that they left, and she said, so they was both, kind of, really upset over it. She said, even after what she did to her, Vi said, this is not a good thing. She said, I'm gonna try to call her later. She said, but she didn't have a lot of money, and if she used those credit cards, her husband gonna know. So I guess Celine was embarrassed and she skied up. So that's the end of my review. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you guys the next time. Bye.